ID camps are rapidly becoming a major part to the overall recruiting process, but it's important to be strategic about which ones you ultimately attend. This video will detail the impact an ID camp can have on your overall process and some strategies on how to get the most out of these events.
ID camps can go both ways. I know players that have been recruited from ID camps. I also know players that have gone to ID camps from like 5 or 6 in a year and not been recruited at all from them. If you're flying around from ID camp to ID camp, you're going to be spending thousands of dollars. It's really important to be as selective as possible when I'm deciding to go to these ID camps.
Maybe the first start is to go into those larger ID camps where there's 30 or 40 coaches there. See what kind of interest you get from the level coaches you get interest from, and then pick a handful of those schools and go to their ID camps, the ones that have shown interest in you, and see if it's a good fit for you.
Well, actually, that it happens all the time. So unfortunately, players are going to be receiving a lot of generic ID camp invites. Dear prospect, we'd like to officially invite you to come to our camp and pay us $250 and play in front of our staff. And unfortunately, families get kind of suckered into thinking that they're on the radar screens of these schools when they may not even know your name. So it's important that you actually develop relationships with these coaches before going to the camp so that you can determine which ones are going to be the best for you and your future.
I think it's a great start to go to the ID camps that have multiple schools, but as you move forward through the process, I think it's really important that you get on campus and go to the individual ID camp events, because that way you're getting to know the coaching staff, you're getting to know the type of players that are going to that school or interested in going to that school to see if I would fit in. And most importantly, I get to see the campus and see if I'm going to like that campus or the surrounding area of the school.
It does get expensive, I'm not going to lie. I mean, it's costly. I mean, some families can't do it, especially if it's out of state and you have to fly, and they have to, it's costly. But in the end, you have to pay some cost to get where your child wants to go. And I mean, if you say $500 for a weekend versus $30,000, $40,000 a year in the long run, I mean, it's peanuts.